Okay, I think it's just going because it went just last time. But hello, everybody.
Hi.
There we are.
There we
Welcome
go.
to the Green Tree Advice Show. I'm Amanda Benkin. This is season 2 of Green Tree Advice. We've been away for like 2 months, I think, somewhere around there. And we are back with episode 29 with my friend, social media consultant, Christine Tomlin.
Hi.
Hello, from
How's it
Being the
going?
Now Media.
Yes, ma'am. Being the Now Media.
Christine, are you excited to be here?
I'm very.
Are you a little bit nervous as to what I'm about to throw at you?
The possibility? Yeah, a little bit.
Are you? Do you feel loose up here, like you're on your game?
It's got it going on up there.
Okay, good.
There's a lot floating around up there, so hopefully you can pick out what you need and we'll utilize it.
Okay, good. All right, so for those of you, if this is your first time watching, what we do on this advice show is we take 2 questions, one about life and one about business in particular. So if you have an interesting question, write into me at greentreesteamers@gmail.com, or if you know me, text me, call me, whatever, and I will find somebody that I think is capable and bright and witty to answer your question. Thus, we have Christine.
Okay.
So are you ready, my friend?
Yes, absolutely. Let's go.
Clear your mind. This is question 1. Dear Amanda and friend, I'm in business for myself. It's hard, but I'm doing what I have to survive.
Oh my.
Sounds familiar, huh?
Sounds very familiar.
My boyfriend works for a large company in sales. He's constantly critiquing everything I do and interrogating me about the moves I'm making in my business, which I had before we started dating. I feel like he works for a corporation and doesn't get the struggle. He would say that he's helping. Come on, Amanda, give it to me straight. What do you think?
He's in a corporate world. Oh, can I answer that?
Yes. Please.
He's in the corporate sense. His brain's in the corporate. It's not, it's far away from small businesses. And you've already been into this prior to meeting him, prior to having him coming on board in your life. Keep doing, girl, what you're doing, because it is a challenge. I'm doing it. My boyfriend, he's out there on the road all the time and encourages me. He goes, you can do it. So hopefully we can get your man to encourage you and get him on the same page and let you do your thing, because your thing is going to work no matter what. There's women out there all over the world that's going to tell you the same exact thing.
The word that you used that just struck me was the word encouragement. I absolutely feed off of encouragement.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
this is one thing, I relate to this woman whom I happen to know, but I relate to her so much because nobody likes to give people who are in business for themselves advice more than people who are entranced in a corporation, or I get a lot of advice from people who are in the education system or something, and it's well meant.
They mean well, yes.
Yes, but there is no way that they can kind of understand what the struggles are if you are dependent upon sales to get that paycheck. And, you know, what I'm hearing in this is that the word that she used that bothered me was interrogate.
Yeah.
He's interrogating me about every decision that I'm making, and he
Not
says that he's
good.
helping. That's indicative to me of some patterns that maybe you need to take a little bit more of a look at.
Yeah, maybe a little control there. That's not good to have. I hate to say this, but for him to control you, he's trying to change you for who you are, and he needs to just go off of that. And if he can't, you just say to yourself, I can do this.
Christine, have you ever noticed that sometimes, and this is a blanket statement, so if, I don't mean to offend anybody with this, but somebody who's a teacher or has gone up the corporate ladder or even in the military will sometimes say things to me and forget that I'm not your student, I don't work for you, and I didn't sign on the dotted line.
Right.
And so I'm not really required to. That's the thing about when you're in business for yourself, you're not really I don't really have to do what you say. And when you're in a relationship, it's hard for me because I work with my husband, but we have very, very separate jobs. I would never in a million years show up on the job site and
Start
micromanage
dictating,
him.
yeah, micromanaging. That's the worst feeling ever.
It would be terrible. And if
Yeah.
he started looking at our marketing and criticizing me instead of being what you were talking about, which is just encouraging, always encouraging.
Yes.
If he started critiquing me, that would go over like a lead balloon.
I had someone that I was married to at one point in time, and I would budget. And I'm talking, this is 20 years ago. I would write out a budget, and I would have it all set up. And he'd come in, and he'd say, why are you budgeting it? It never works out anyway. I'm like, that's the whole point of budgeting.
That's why I'm doing it.
That's why I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So in my brain, I'm thinking, why would you tell me? I got flustered because you start to self-doubt yourself.
Yeah.
When somebody else
That's
comes
it.
in.
You doubt
And
yourself.
you don't want to do that.
No.
No, don't do that.
And the thing about, if you're in sales, if you are living and dying by your own sword, your energy that you put out, your enthusiasm, all of that, your mojo, so to speak, is very powerful. And that's what people are going to buy or contract you on.
Absolutely,
And so if
yes.
someone is in your head and before you've even started, you're starting to think, I'm making these wrong moves, you panic and don't do anything.
Yeah, and you fail to go outside the box when somebody is constantly pushing you into this box.
Who has the corporate mindset?
Right, and they think on a bigger scale. It is very, very different to have somebody in the corporate world say this is that. They go by rules of other people. We don't go by rules of other people when we are running our own small business.
And we don't have the safety net
No, yeah,
that
absolutely.
that kind of exists in that world. You know, if a marketing plan doesn't necessarily work for us, that could mean disaster as opposed to
And we got to be quick on our feet and be able to get out there and find something else
Gotta have confidence.
that works for us. Yes, maybe take some advice that he gives you, but by all means, don't take all.
And
Don't take all.
how would we advise her when he starts interrogating you about what you're doing in your business? What's the advice, Christine, that we give her to say?
Honey, I love you, but I got this.
I got
Be
it.
confident in yourself.
Yeah.
Say you got this. I got this.
And if you do need help, the best thing that I ever did for myself was making friends with other women who are in small business, because I go to these events and they provide the encouragement and positivity, and also the understanding.
Understanding of where we're coming from, the energy, because I as well do the networking, and I didn't have that before. I'm always, I came from a background where I sat behind a computer in the corporate world, and I had to come out of that, and coming out of that and moving to a new state, I had to be able to get out there and talk to other people. I didn't know how to. So I went out and met women in networking, and it's made me feel wonderful inside. It encourages me to go out there and be me. Just be me.
Just be you.
Yeah.
And you're pretty cool.
you.
And, maybe write in again. I don't know. I don't want to get into your business and stuff, but if somebody makes you feel bad,
Yeah.
think about that.
Talk to some girls.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to some girls.
We don't have to accept relationships where we kind of always feel like garbage.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yep.
We
all feel loved, and when you feel love and confidence from another partner, you do better at what you do,
yes.
for sure.
So, food for thought, please, ma'am. All right, Christine, are you ready for question 2?
Yes.
All right, well, this one is kind of for you. I heard you speak
Okay.
earlier about the origin of what you do.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so interesting. So here is my question. Christine, can you touch for us on the origin story of what you do, which is handling social media for businesses, and how you got into it and why?
Oh, I got into it. Thank you to my brother who didn't know what Facebook was. I got into it because I was hanging out at my brother's shop. He has
What kind of
cars.
shop?
He has cars. He fixes cars up. He goes to auction, buys cars from auction, brings them back, tinkers with them for what little bit he needs to, and then puts them up for sale. And I asked him, I says, well, how else are you getting business besides talking to the people that you do at auction? Because he goes to auction all the time. And family. He's like, well, anybody who walks in through the door. And I'm like, you do know you're in a small little town, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You're limited on who's walking around.
And I told him, I says, well, what about getting on social media? He's like, social media? I go, yeah, like Facebook. And he's like, what's Facebook? And I'm like,
Christine, when was this?
This was 4 years ago.
But even then, like 4 years ago, what's
Yeah.
Facebook?
Yeah, 4 years ago. And he still didn't have a clue what Facebook was. And he's one who does the finger typing kind of person, and it goes slow. So, and I asked him, I says, can I help you? And he's like, you can help me anytime. Free help? Sure. And I went into his office, looked at his books, and I'm like, why do you have 2 tablets? They kind of say the same thing. He's like, that's how I do things. I'm like, you do things in tablets? I'm like, no. You ever heard of Excel? So not only did I get him on all social media channels for him, I created a website for him, got him up on Facebook. The Instagram thing, he didn't quite understand that. And at that time, I really didn't understand it neither. But now we are connected on it, and he knows that what he puts on Facebook can instantly go on to Instagram, hence the word Instagram. And he's doing really well. He loves it that when I come over and take some photographs of his new cars that he has coming in, I take those pictures, add them into a post that's up for sale, and when they go out the door and someone actually, purchases that car, I ask them, can I tag you? And that person's like, tag me? Yeah. I'm like, they'll be featured on our webpage and on our Facebook. And
did it make a difference for his?
It really did make a difference for him, but he still didn't understand it.
Did he see more revenue from it?
He didn't see the actual revenue from it, but he got people from all over because he also sells the antique cars. And that is where he generated the knowledge of people can actually contact him from all over. And he had someone come from Madison, someone from Chicago even. And I'm talking, this is in Wisconsin, so Chicago's like 4 hours away from where his business is. And that person bought one of his older cars, and he also had one from Arizona. Yeah. So somebody came from Arizona, and most of the time, us Wisconsin people go to Arizona to find a car, and all of a sudden someone from Arizona is coming up.
Right, and that person from Arizona wouldn't have just been walking around and
right.
gone in.
They would not have walked into my brother's shop knowing that he had this antique car.
It took, somebody putting their business up on social media. And if somebody is like Christine's brother, who's like, what's Instagram? What's Facebook? That's the level that you need the professional to come in. Yeah. And Christine, what is what is the standard what you do for clients?
The standard what I do for clients is I post their content. So if they have content that they want to get out there, I take that content and I write up a little thing with their words, their sayings, how they act, how they portray themselves, and I put that out there. And if they don't quite know how to do it, I advise them on this is what's good. And I always say let's follow the 80-20 rule.
Okay.
Because the 80-20 rule is when you post something out there, 20% of it, your business. 80% of it, your personality. People love to get to know who you are. We want to know who you are. Because why would we do business with you if all you're doing is saying, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy that? We want to be able to relate to you as a person. And hey, if you have an oops,
it makes
people want to see that. Yeah,
people love that.
It puts you down as being human. Absolutely.
And I mean that nobody wants somebody who's perfect all the time, but they want to see. They want it. There's a form of accountability. If you're putting your business out there on Facebook, you're more likely to give excellent service, I would think.
Yeah, for sure. You get a lot more coming in if you're a more show you that you're more rounded as part of your community. If you're sharing tips, that's another big thing. Going live. This is an awesome thing because who knows what's going to happen.
Oh, Lord,
you know.
It's doing this, and this is believe it or not, this is far outside of my comfort zone. It was
Really?
last summer that somebody convinced me to start doing this, to kind of play on my strengths instead of just sell, and to show a little bit of personality in there.
I love it.
And
love it.
what the doors that it's opened, or the people that it's really been incredible. And what I've learned from my friends, sitting them down and asking their opinions about things, the wisdom that's been dropped on me has been incredible.
And you get to know the personality.
Yeah.
And getting to know the personality behind the company, I think
It's huge.
It's very huge. It's phenomenally huge.
And if getting on, if you're in business and getting on Facebook, interacting, putting yourself out there seems scary, you are Christine's ideal client.
Absolutely.
That's exactly who she's looking for, is somebody who doesn't know where to start and doesn't know how to make content that's going to be effective.
Sure, absolutely. And beyond that, if you're overwhelmed, if you're at the point where you have all this stuff going on, but you're like, with it all, you get those big, and when you get to that point, call me.
Call her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
All right,
I can help you soothe that out.
BeinTheNowMedia.com.
Yes, ma'am.
That's it.
That's it.
Go to the website and check out her different packages, because there's different levels for different needs.
There's an a la carte for everybody.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, Christine, this was a lot of fun.
Well, thank you.
I hope you have a good time.
All right, having a great time.
Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. And I will be back next week with another guest. And I want to thank my friend, Christine Tomlin. And you can find her and her services at BeinTheNowMedia.com.
Thank you, Amanda.
Well, thank you.
From Green Tree
Steamers. I know, right? Okay. You guys have a great weekend or week, and we will see you later. Bye-bye.